last week, of course, and we covered this extensively, probably I'm going to say better than any other news organisation in the country, because we're not woke and we're not pandering to a woke staff, basically. So we covered the issue of the running and then the unrunning of a Hobson's pledge ad, which said things that I think we could say were controversial, but not false, about claims to the foreshore and seabed of New Zealand by Maori groups. And in fact, in some Maori groups, I think agreed, Wātea News, I think, agreed with the supposedly contentious parts of that ad. But in truth, it had nothing to do with the content of the ad. The wokesters, not who read the Herald, but who run the Herald, the journalists, the woke lefty liberal journalists, didn't like that the Herald was perhaps making money off allowing people to engage in public debate through an advertisement. So there will be no more Hobson's pledge ad. An ad planned for last Wednesday was pulled, or the Herald wrote and said, we won't accept that ad. And I understand at least one other group, I think the Stop Co-Governance group asked about ads, and they were told the ads would have to be cleared by a lawyer first. I'm sure they don't do that with the Bunnings ads or the Harvey Norman ads or the ads for prostitutes that they run their classified columns on the Herald. I'm sure they don't run them past lawyers, do they? And many thought initially that the running of the original wraparound ad was a victory and a indication the tide was turning or the wind had changed direction on wokeism in our media. But in fact seems that legacy media continues to swim against the tide of public opinion and practice cancel culture. Another group that I think might get caught up in all this and has had problems in the past with advertising, I'm pretty sure, is the Taxpayers Union, which is a lobby group which highlights, and I would say generally from the small c right of the political spectrum, issues around public spending and tries to hold to account those who take our tax dollars and perhaps spend it less wisely than they should. Joining us now from the Taxpayers Union is Jordan Williams. Jordan, good morning.
Good morning, Sean.
Hi.
Good morning.
Hey, when was the last time you ran an ad in the Herald?
It can't be more than a month ago. We do them pretty regularly. Certainly through the budget, we were doing full-page ads on a number of things around tax relief, around cutting government waste. It's bread and butter of the things we do. And the safeguard of lobby or advocacy advertising is that it allows groups like the Taxpayers Union to talk about or inform the public or raise in the public sphere matters for which newsrooms won't cover. The reason we are so concerned about the Herald's new approach or this review, they sort of say, oh, everything's under review, don't worry, but the reality is they now want to pre-vet our ads before they'll even tell us what space is available.
That's like the girlfriend saying she needs some space and some time, isn't it?
Well, it sort of undermines also the way that, I can't speak for any other lobby groups, but for the Taxpayers Union, often what we'll do is we've got a campaign bubbling away. We'll touch base with the Herald and say, look, what space is available, and do you have any distressed deals? Because the salespeople at NZME quite like us because we can turn stuff around quickly. You think of the Harvey Normans of the world, they're probably planning their sales 3 or 6 months out and booking all their ads. Whereas we can turn stuff around in sort of 2 or 3 days. The problem now is when we go to them and say, look, what have you got available? They go, well, hang on a minute, we need to see what your copy is and what your creative is before we'll tell you what's available. And what I fear is that they'll look at something that could be a little bit hot. Yeah, okay, then we'll offer them page 22 for 20 grand as opposed to page 4 at a distressed deal sort of thing. And that's probably the risk. The other thing, though, is that you look, step back. You know, on whose obligation is it to comply with advertising standards? It's the advertiser.
Yeah.
I can speak for the Taxpayers Union. We've never had an advertising standards authority decision against us. In fact, and believe me, there have been hundreds of complaints about, when the left don't like us pointing out government spending or whatever. But in fact, in the 10 years, there's just been one image on our social media where the graphic designer, we got the wrong model of Tesla. That's the only one we've settled.
And Tesla are litigious. They sued Jeremy Clarkson for saying something nasty about a Tesla. They are particularly litigious.
It was about the clean car discount and pointing out the...
Jordan, have you talked to the Herald in the past week about what the new rules are?
Well, we've asked to meet with them because we're pretty concerned. But the other thing we're doing is...
What have they said to that?
Well, they haven't come back to us. They haven't engaged with us at all. They're saying that there's a review underway, that they need to see...
It's the girlfriend saying, no, I can't talk, I need more time.
Well, I would like to know. My first question would be, what standards are you holding us up to? Because if it's not advertising standards authority standards, what the heck is it? Because it sounds like
it's their virtue signalling woke standards, Jordan. You know that.
Well, I understand it's actually there's some of the sort of millennial staff, but I understand the real problem is the chair. They've got quite a...
Barbara... What's
the name escapes me.
Yeah, but she is also the patron of the Rainbow Tech organisation, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I've had a couple of major donors reach out to me and tell me that the NZME have quite a weak chair, and I think that's possibly where this is coming from. But you look at the brouhaha over Hobson's pledge and their ad, look at, unless I've missed something, there's nothing in that ad that's wrong.
No, and even some on the other side of the argument say, well, it is true. The entire foreshore is underclaimed one way or another by one or t'other Maori group.
Yeah, but the lovies are saying, Hobson's pledge are wrong to say to put it back in public ownership. It's never been in public ownership. That's exactly what Helen Clark's law did.
Yep.
It put the seabed and foreshore in public ownership. It was John Key that changed it with the marine and coastal... coastal areas legislation. What a pathetic organisation to have a commercial, relationship, and a few wokesters jump up and down and bully this.
And it's amazing what they've done in the past. They had a front page wraparound during the debate on marijuana law reform, where they had prominent news. Now, if that wasn't a debatable point, right? And saying it would be a good thing, and there was quite some debate. Even the then Prime Minister, what's her name, Jacinda Ardern, wouldn't commit on that. They've had front page wraparounds, basically personally attacking the now Prime Minister Chris Luxon, and one doesn't get the feeling that they're as hard on certain ads from a certain part of the political spectrum than they are on others.
Well, I think a lot of people are asking that question, and that's actually why it's better for the likes of NZME to just say, look, we can take the space for editorial decision making is not the ads.